I'm in Barrow-in-Furness in Cumbria, and it was one of the most important shipbuilding centres in the whole of the UK. Now, not only did they build the most magnificent ships here from the late 19th century onwards, but they also built models of the ships that they built. In fact, there was a model shop, a model factory on site. And we're going to go in today to see if we can film some of those models in an entirely new way, using the very latest camera technology. We couldn't be in a better location to talk about shipbuilding. That huge, monstrous shed behind me is where they make today's Royal Navy nuclear submarines. And the museum is straddling the old dock here, built in the 1870s. They're up and running now, but the first challenge was to get the glass out of these cases, and the glass was simply enormous. The cameraman said it was like taking apart an old bomb, and that's about right. It was so concerning, worrying about them breaking. We don't think that these cases have been opened in over a quarter of a century. That makes you realise just how special it is to get in up close with these ship models. If you come over here, you can see some of the footage being created. Amazing stuff. Let's go and have a look at the model. This is HMS Vengeance. It's a battleship that was built at the end of the 19th century during Queen Victoria's reign, and it's a fascinating, innovative vessel. It was built at a time where the British were concerned about the threat of Japanese sea power, and they needed to build ships that could go to the Far East. They needed to be able to transit the Suez Canal, so they were restricted in their width and also in their draft, in their depth, and the result was this ship here. So smaller, lighter and faster than previous battleships, but could certainly pack a punch. The ship was also full of the most amazing innovations, particularly to do with the engines. It was the first to incorporate something called water tube boilers, which is different to fire tube boilers, and that allowed the ship to raise steam faster than other vessels and also to be more efficient. It also had a new propeller system where the propellers went the wrong way round, a reverse propeller action. Now, not all of these innovations stood the test of time, but they certainly demonstrated that the shipbuilders here in Barrow and also in the Royal Navy, those who designed the vessels, were at the very forefront of maritime innovation. It's really helpful to come and look at HMS Vengeance from the bow, because you get a real sense of just how radically new her design was. First up, you have the ram bow, which was designed at a time when they thought the ram, the hull itself, was going to be one of the most important weapons on the battleship. But at the same time, she has these enormously powerful guns, which were actually superseding the use of the ram. Now also, she's a very powerful ship in terms of her engines, but she's still fitted with a bowsprit and still fitted with rigging, but they were completely obsolete at the time. So this is a ship that's actually trying to weirdly look older than she actually was. But the key thing that made her look radically different is the position of the funnels. Now, using these new boiler system that she has on board, it allows the funnels to be one behind the other. Before that, they were all side by side. So visually, this ship was completely new. This is an absolute monster of a model. It's easily the biggest one that we've filmed. It's got to be at least 3 meters long, maybe 4 meters long. A magnificent ship, the Orion, built in the 1930s. And I think if there's one passenger ship from history that I would have liked to have gone on, it's probably this one. She changed so much about what was expected in terms of comfort and safety on board. And you can really see how open the ship was, how much space there was for all of the passengers. She was built for the Orient line, so travelling in the tropics from the UK to Australia, it was going to be hot, and the comfort and safety of the passengers was all important. The key thing to notice about her is how much space there is on deck. There's only one funnel. It's set at an angle to give the impression of speed. But the aft deck here, there's no mast, there isn't any other funnels, there's space for swimming pools. It's important to think about what it would have been like on this ship and how secure you would have felt, because it had an entirely new sprinkler system in case there was a fire, controlled from the bridge. It was made with fire-resistant paint as well. So you'd be pretty confident that you were going to be safe on your journey to Australia. And notice also the colour of the ship itself. Now, it was traditional to have black or dark red paint on the hull here. Here they've changed it to this remarkable corn colour with a very snazzy green line along the waterline. So these people were not just travelling to Australia, they were travelling to Australia in some style and unlike anyone had ever done before. I love being able to peer inside this vessel because it was on the inside that all of the magic happened. Before now, the interior of vessels like this had been designed a bit like country houses. They were all wood-panelled dining rooms and grand sweeping staircases. This was completely Art Deco, a 1930s masterpiece. Everything was stripped back. It was very, very cool. In fact, it was physically cool as well, because this was the first of the British liners to be completely air-conditioned. This is amazing. They're using the probe lens to actually get right inside. So, I mean, it looks like I'm standing on the decks of a 1930s passenger liner. It's magical. Well, it's been a long day. I think the guys who came to remove the glass left home in North Yorkshire at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's now about 6:37, so we've been at it for a very, very long time, but I'm very much hoping that you've got a chance now to see these most magnificent models, these kind of gems of maritime heritage in an entirely new way. And I genuinely think that these ship models have the power to change the way that we think about the past.